And Mr. Brooks is absent.
Okay, great. So let's call the meeting. This is actually a reconvened meeting. And we're going to address, it looks like we have one old matter and 3 new ones. So we'll start with Fay Hospitality Catskills. Jen, you want to let us know what we're doing?
Sure. Sorry, I'm just, yes. I believe that Mr. Brooks is signing on now. So I just,
Okay, good.
so this is the Villa Roma project. This project involves the acquisition and some renovation of the Villa Roma. We've talked about it a couple times in the past, and just to remind you, in your agenda packet was the application as well as the cost benefit analysis. And as a reminder, we held a public hearing on May 6th and received no comments from the public. So the resolution before you today is authorizing and approving the execution of the project agreements, including the pilot, leaseback, and related documents.
Hey, Walter, anything to add?
No, I think that captures what the resolution is intended to provide for.
Okay,
What,
good.
what are the odds of success on this thing? This is sort of a middle market resort. You look at how successful Lake Mohonk is, and I can't think of anything else in the area that's this successful. I think the chances are pretty good if they run it well.
The fact that they have a built-in workforce already and a pretty, they need to renovate their infrastructure, but it's a beautiful spot. And I think that there's not a lot of housing out that way. In other words, not housing, but you know what I mean, as far as hotels, etc. And I think they have a target audience anyway, don't they, from the city?
Yeah. All right. So Howard, you were making a motion. I
Yes.
heard.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
I'll second. Any further discussion about this resolution?
When you think about the different options that could have occurred here, I think this is great. And like everybody said, the fact that they're up and running, they have a target audience, they have an existing workforce. Yeah, and to Paul's point, as long as they run it right, yeah, this is a good move.
Definitely. Great.
What experience do the people that are taking it over? I mean, that's the key to the whole thing, because we've watched a bunch of people with great ideas that run things right into the ground.
Well, we're not, I mean, Fay Hospitality has operations in the UK, including some hospitality investments, but they've shown that they're willing to engage lots of consultants to help them, and hopefully they have the right team in place.
Yep. Well, if they start out with that attitude, the chances of success are much better, as opposed to bringing in consultants to discuss the disaster.
Okay, so let's call the question. All in favor of supporting the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
So that helps. Any opposed? Okay, the resolution's approved. We'll now move on to new business. The first item has to do with Catskill Hospitality Holding, and of course, all that information was in the packet. Jen, Walter, who's going to give us an update on this?
Well, this is, while it may have been in the packet under new business, this is about the oldest business we have. This is the longest construction project of a limited service hotel that I can remember. This started out by an application April 5th of 2016. So it's
I was still in kindergarten then.
yeah.
That's not true.
So there's been all kinds of financing transactions to backfill the continual budget increases that have happened from 2016 estimates of what it'll cost to build a hotel till now. Hopefully this will be the last time that we see this, but we've said that before. So the resolution does 2 things. The disbursement agreement on the TPL loan of $5.3 million required that to be spent in 60 months. 60 months is come and gone. So one of the things that will happen is there'll be an amendment to extend that to 64 months. And the Bancorp Bank, in addition to the TPL loan, provided them interim financing, which over time increased a few times and is now around 3.2 million. And that's being taken out by an SBA loan from Pursuit through the Empire State CDC arrangement. So what this authorizes the chairperson to sign is an amendment to the lease subordination agreement, which reflects those changes.
Okay, does anyone, let's get a motion and then we can have further discussion. Can I have a motion to approve the
So moved.
resolution? Paul, second by Howard. Okay, any further discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. The next resolution is authorizing the execution and delivery of one or more mortgages to secure a loan from M&T Bank in the amount of 3.1 million related to the SVG 26 LLC project. Jen?
So this is a refinance of an existing loan. This is the former Catskill Distilling Company project. And as you remember, we closed with the new entity, SVG 26 LLC, last May. And at that time, there was financing in place as part of that IDA transaction. And this is a refinance in the amount of $3.1 million in the form of a loan from M&T Bank. Walter, I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add about that.
No, that covers it. There's a existing loan with Sachem Capital, which is the kind of loan that you get when you're buying something out of bankruptcy that you try to get rid of as soon as you can. And they now have a commitment to do just that.
Doesn't change any of their obligations or our interest whatsoever, right?
No, we have some related, well, we have some other transactions happening with them at about the same time, but this new loan from M&T through the SBA 7A program is to refinance out the expensive loan they have with Sachem Capital. The other thing, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, does anyone have any questions related to that? Not going to have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Paul, Ed, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and that motion carries. The last resolution relates to the Center for Discovery, which of course, anyone who's been copied on these, I'm sure Walter didn't get much sleep over the weekend. You have an incredible amount of documentation that has been created, but it's also very complicated. It appears complicated. So Walter, maybe you could just give us a summary of where we're at now and what it is we're going to vote on, to be clear for everyone.
Okay. Let me start out by saying that there will be the need for a special meeting of Sullivan County Funding Corp as a companion to what's happening. There are bonds that were issued by Sullivan County Funding Corp in 2011 and 2017. The 2011 bonds had a call date of December 1st, 2021. If you recall, the agency adopted resolutions extending, authorizing the extension of that call date from December to April, and then from April to June 1. So the 2011 bonds will be restructured as part of that process. Because of some changes in the security for those bonds, there will also be some amendments to the 2017 bonds. One of the banks that is in the deal now and will remain in the deal is TD Bank. And as part of the credit approval process for all of these transactions that are occurring on June 1st, there's an existing bridge loan that TD Bank made to the Center for Discovery of slightly more than $9 million, which is being converted to a term loan, and for which the lender is requiring, in addition to current collateral, which is basically a revenue pledge, that that term loan be secured by a subordinate mortgage behind the mortgage that secures the bonds. I want to make sure we note that Mr. Siegel has indicated to me that he will be abstaining from participating as a result of his business relationship with the Center for Discovery.
Thank you.
Walter, last week you mentioned that one of their sources of revenue were sort of daily.
Well, they have lots of residential facilities where people live. They also have day programs that people come in, lots of people, hundreds of people, for all kinds of different
which you said was hurt by COVID.
Well, it closed during COVID. They weren't,
Okay.
bringing in lots of people from lots of different households to congregate at one place was something that wasn't
Right,
viable
obviously. Yep.
So that is in part the reason for the bridge loan being converted to a term loan. But overall, this is all part of a restructure of the 2011 and 2017 bonds. And there'll be much more to come on that when we have a special meeting of Sullivan County Funding Corp. To avoid having to have another IDA meeting in May, with Susie and Jen's consent, I thought it would be best to get this out of the way today. But there'll be other resolutions for Sullivan County Funding Corp on the same overall financing.
So this is now the lease back because the parcels that are now being pledged as collateral
In
now
order,
need to be transferred back to the IDA, right?
no, these parcels, IDA has never been involved in these parcels, only Sullivan County Funding Corp.
Okay,
So these parcels are being leased to the IDA and immediately leased back.
got it.
And that lease will be for a period of 6 months, ending on November 30. And then on effective June 1, the Center for Discovery will be mortgaging to TD Bank their fee interest in these properties, and IDA will be mortgaging to TD Bank the IDA's leasehold interest in these properties. Therefore, since this is refinancing existing debt, there won't be any mortgage recording tax due upon recording the $9 million mortgage.
I'm sure the rate is a lot higher.
I haven't focused on rate, so I can't speak to that, but I'm not sure a lot higher than what, probably a lot higher than the bonds, yes, but
No choice.
All right. So at the funding corp, we're going to be amending the bonds themselves.
the Funding Corp action, which will happen later this month, will involve the approval of a comprehensive restructure of the 2011 bonds and an amendment to the 2017 bonds.
Okay, thank you.
And if
All right.
if anybody's interested, there's about 120 total documents. If anybody'd like to have them sent, Phil, if you have a lot of spare time, happy to send them to you.
Okay, so let's get a
There's a
motion.
reason why he's on mute.
Yeah,
Let's get a motion to approve the resolution and a second, and then we'll see if there's any more discussion. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Carol, second Paul. Any further discussion about this transaction or any further questions for Walter, Jen? Okay, hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
One
resolution
abstention.
Carries, and one abstention for Howard. Do we have any other new business before we go to public comment?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Walter, in the past, you've mentioned that the appeal of Sullivan County to the pot farmers was the cheap electric. I read recently that Central Hudson is going to be significantly slashing rates. You think that'll have any kind of impact on the appeal of Sullivan County?
We haven't really been able to get any of the transactions to happen here that we originally thought would happen here. They're happening in NYSEX territory, but in counties that have lower operating costs, better workforces, and I shouldn't use the word better workforces, more available workers. And yet the answer is, I think that my recollection is there's about 1,200 Central Hudson meters in Sullivan County, all in the town of Neversink. So I don't think that I don't think Central Hudson slashing rates will make any difference in Sullivan County. It'll make Ulster County more attractive.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's what he, yeah.
Yeah, but
They got
Delaware,
that big thing going in Ellenville.
right. And Delaware County is where they've gotten a lot of traction because the real estate tax rates are much lower than in Sullivan County.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments from any other new business?
Shall we
Okay.
discuss a funding court meeting date?
Oh,
while we're on
good
the line?
idea, Jen. Thank you. Yes, let's do that while we have everybody on if we could. Walter, what's the timing? When would you like to see such a meeting happen?
I'm somewhat indifferent. I wouldn't want to leave it until the 31st because in case we don't have a quorum, then we have no options. But
Are you ready already for this meeting? With
No.
what we need to do? No. So when will you be ready?
it's not totally within our control.
Okay.
So I would say Friday, the 27th would be a good target date, or Thursday, the 26th, either of those days.
Okay.
Monday, the 30th is Memorial Day, so that really doesn't
No,
work.
let's not do that. And I
And
think Friday's bad for people too, because some people take an early day. So what if we shot for the 26th? Let's get a temperature reading from everybody. How about,
Thursday, the 26th,
yeah,
looks good for me.
anybody that it doesn't work for? Okay, so now the question is the time. What time, Walter, would you like this meeting? Because I know there's always last minute things to get
Well,
ready.
There's a group call, the working group working on the bonds, which is a very exciting group of about 12 lawyers. We have a call at 9 o'clock that morning on May 26th. So I would say 11 in case something comes out of that call where we need to make
Okay.
any adjustments. I'm not expecting that. I think the business deal points at this stage are pretty well fixed. We're just still working on documents and language at this point.
Okay, so how does that, everybody give me a thumbs up if 11 o'clock on Thursday, the 26th works for you.
Works for me.
Works for me.
I'm
Okay,
good.
I'm not hearing Sean. I see you nodding. You're good.
Yeah.
Carol, you're good. Okay, so we're saying Thursday, the 26th at 11 a.m. And Jen, you'll send us a calendar invite?
I will, yes. And this can be a Zoom call as well. We have, the executive order was extended until mid-June, so there's no need for this to be in person.
Perfect. Okay, good. So with that, then we'll move to public comment. Is there any member from the public who would like to speak today?
In case there's wonderment over D. Sapperman, Dylan is one of the lawyers working for the Center for Discovery, working many hours reviewing many documents. So
One of the 12 lawyers you just insulted, or?
that's it, including myself.
Got it. All right, very good. So it doesn't seem like we have anyone else other than Steve, who's also an attorney involved. So we will, I guess with that, we will adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I'll move it.
And
Second.
Howard. Okay, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week on Thursday.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So long, everybody.
Take care.